Hello, this is Angela with Parker's Permaculture. I did not plan on making a video today. I've actually been quiet for the last several days on YouTube, if some of you have noticed, and today is Friday. I'm in the Hoyt Arboretum. And normally I'll be making my House for Friday video, but I wanted to take a few minutes and explain why I haven't been on YouTube very much the last few days. Make a video to explain sort of what's been going on the last few days and why I have not been anxious to finish editing footage for my garden, and I've been kind of quiet on this app. Some of you know that 4 months ago-ish, I started trying to use my TikTok and get active on it. I've gone from 500 and something followers to 64,000 in a matter of just a few months, and that has been overwhelming, to say the least. Learning how to use that app still, it's very different than YouTube or Facebook. It is a really rapid fire pace app, and the kind of engagement that does well is very different. My gardening videos do not do well on that app, let's put it that way. So that app has been a really big learning curve for me, and because the engagement is so much more rapid fire, and because the comments are limited in characters, the kind of engagement that happens tends to be really harsh, and the algorithm tends to benefit pretty hostile engagement. And in TikTok, because of the way the algorithm works, much like YouTube, folks get in these little bubbles, and if your video goes to the wrong side of TikTok, you know, for example, the alt-right side of TikTok, then those folks will come for you. And that's what happened to me this week. So I made a video because, you know, a lot of my content lately, I'm talking about the permaculture ethic of people care, and especially addressing, you know, racism and white supremacy and poverty in America. And, you know, I made a video, it made it to the alt-right side, and people are freaking out in my comments. So I wake up to hundreds and hundreds of comments, and within 24 hours, it's thousands and thousands and hundreds of messages in my inbox. And right-wing Trumpers, women who, mostly young moms, like young trad wives, whose bios say things like Colton and Braxton's mommy, proud boy mom, proud patriot, my husband's wifey, have an American flag and a cross in their bio. The kind of young women who peaked in high school and are continuing to be the same kind of mean girls they were in school on the internet. And which to me is like, y'all are young enough to be my daughters, so it doesn't really bother me, but it was super disheartening to find that my usual audience is no longer seeing my content, and instead it is kind of rabid, pro-Trump folks who make their entire personality their big lifted truck and their firearms, saying things like, I hope your children get kidnapped and assaulted, I hope you get raped, I hope that you get unalived, I hope you find out what kidnapping is like firsthand, I hope that you get assaulted and you don't have a weapon so you find out what happens when you don't arm yourself. Those kind of hundreds of those kind of comments. TikTok has done a very bad job of filtering them, and luckily most of the time when I'm reporting them, they are getting removed. Someone said that they hoped that I got stabbed in a Walmart parking lot. People feel free to say that to a complete stranger on the internet, because I'm saying that maybe we should deconstruct from white supremacy, and also like maybe we should look at the data and statistics around the safety when it comes to these. People lost their minds, and I realize this is a very like hateful demographic, and I understand that they are used to their isolated bubble, and they're very fragile, and they're very angry, and that they have been indoctrinated by the decrepit Cheeto and by their political party to view people who are not alt-right as subhuman, as inhuman, and to wish violence upon them, right? That is the unfortunate nature of the fractured America that we live in. And so, yeah, so it's just been really disheartening to see, you know, like I do live in a Portland bubble, so it's disheartening to see that like so much of America thinks like this. So much of America like can't do math, can't assess risk, is anti-science, is fearful, is wrapped up in conspiracy theories, right? Like the Wayfair panic, the satanic panic, QAnon, all of that alt-right shit is still going on. It's still prevalent. It's just morphed into more conspiracy theories about, folks coming over the southern border, fear of brown people, abduction panics, false narratives about child trafficking that are not true. And that's a great way to scapegoat the other, right? So a lot of my content is hey, women, we're at a high risk of being harmed in our lifetimes, and so are our kids. In fact, 1 in 3 of us women will be assaulted by our partner or our ex in our lifetime. And, our risk of being abducted by a stranger is 1 in a million. And so there's a vested interest in the men who assault us and the men who want to control women through a narrative of fear, especially to make women afraid of men of color, to have us focus on these very infinitesimal risks and not the very real risks, and protect ourselves from the men in our lives who are the men who are going to hurt us and hurt our kids. So it's just really hard. And I find TikTok, I'm much more successful. I can make more income in a week on TikTok than I can make in a month on YouTube. And I have bills to pay. And so there's an incentive for me to keep using that platform much more than this one. And it almost becomes a vicious cycle where you are asked to basically sell your mental health on TikTok in order to pay your bills, because it is more closer. I'm not saying it is a living wage. It's closer to a living wage. And so for me, for the number of hours that I put in, it's hard for me to say I need to stop using this app because it's not good for my mental health, or I'm exposing myself to harassment on a daily basis. And normally it's been okay. There's a few weird comments, but in the last 48 hours, it has been, like I said, thousands of comments. And I think about people who don't have as robust and resilient mental health as I do, and who don't have a support network like I do, and don't have a good stable home and family situation, and how behavior like that, online bullying and harassment like that, literally risks people's lives. There are creators on YouTube and on TikTok who have unalived themselves because of online hate and harassment. And I think people on the right have such fragile feelings that they feel entitled to dehumanize and threaten strangers on the internet from their safe position behind a keyboard, because they feel small and fragile and scared. They want other people to feel small and fragile and scared. So it's hard for me to make content. It's very hard for me to look at my messages. If you watch me, sorry, I don't have a tripod today. If you are on my Facebook, you'll notice that I haven't been posting as much because I'm so drained from that content on TikTok. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it just makes me want to, I'm gonna tip my hat up a little bit. It makes me want to continue to talk about the issues that I talk about, because it highlights for me how strong the need is for us in American society to deconstruct from white supremacy, from racism, from capitalism, how much toxic individualism hurts all of us, how much toxic masculinity hurts men in our society, and how much, all of those structures of power and oppression, they hurt every working class person. They hurt all of us across the board. Men, women, white people, people of color, children, we are all being damaged and injured by that system. And if we want resilient, robust systems with earth care, people care, fair share, if we want resilient community, then we have to work to dismantle those systems of oppression before we can build a better world. So for me, I'm sort of want to redouble my efforts and continue to make the content that I make, but then it makes it very difficult for me to have the emotional bandwidth to make other kinds of content. So I have a couple of gardening videos that are in the middle of being edited. I have just run out of steam. And then also I'm trying to spend some time with my kids in the last 2 weeks before school starts again. And we have a house guest coming from New York next week. And so we've just been really, really busy. Yesterday we went to the free day at the Portland Art Museum, and that was really fun.
You see how I wear my mask? Very demure, very mindful. I wear my N95. I take COVID precautions. Very demure, very considerate, very community-minded. I'm not like you other girls.
I love using YouTube. I started this YouTube channel so that I could share content, short educational videos about permaculture and gardening that were free and accessible to everybody. That was my original goal in making a YouTube channel, and it sort of expanded from there. I wanted to take the things I was teaching in the workshops at my house and put them on the internet for everybody, because I could only fit 25 people in a workshop. But some of my videos have 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 views. And so it's like, how can I put that information out into the public for free so that everybody can access it? And YouTube seemed like such a great way to get that done. Over the last year, YouTube revenue has gone down a lot for me. So they don't really tell you how they determine how much they're going to pay you, like what the formula is for ad compensation. But it's so hard for me to not use TikTok when, like I said, I can make a month's worth of income in a week on TikTok. It makes it hard for me to prioritize YouTube because my videos here take a lot longer to make. There's a lot more editing. There's a lot more download, upload, re-download, re-upload, rounds and rounds of editing. And it just takes a lot longer to make long form videos and to use the platform of YouTube. So I don't want to stop making YouTube videos. I just want you all to know that, like, I'm trying to pay my bills. And trying to figure out like how to use this new platform and how to have safe and healthy boundaries and limits for me so that I can prioritize my own well-being, but still also communicate the things I want to communicate. I still want to educate about all aspects of permaculture, the gardening aspects, the community aspects, the people care aspects, the earth care aspects. And I think that that's best done using multiple platforms because, you know, in particular, like my gardening content, I think this is a better platform for that. And maybe some of the more people care aspects are better done on TikTok. So I'm sorry that I'm really wobbly. I don't have a tripod with me. I wasn't planning on filming, but I felt like I owed y'all an explanation as to why I'm struggling to post quite so much. So I'm doing fine. I'm mostly sad that a significant portion of American society thinks and operates this way based out of fear and hatred, especially hatred of women, people of color, people who aren't like them. I don't know how we got here, but I think it's crucial that we learn to deconstruct and reconnect, and that we also are honest with each other, we're frank with each other, that we aren't passive aggressive, that we're not avoiding having conversations about hard truths, that we don't infantilize each other, that we treat each other like adults, and we expect that the 3 ethics of permaculture would be the baseline, right? Like, I'm just setting an expectation that, like, this is the baseline for me: earth care, people care, fair share. And I'm going to treat everybody else like an adult and assume that they can handle the hard conversations to help get us there. So, okay, with all of that rambling, I will finish my hike in the beautiful Arboretum and then hopefully get this all edited and uploaded before the end of the day today. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe. I have a video coming out, I hope tomorrow or Sunday. Tomorrow we have the NEA powwow. So my husband used to teach at NEA, and even though Chickasaws don't do powwows, they do stomp dances, it's still totally fine for us to go and support the NEA powwow. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. So I don't know if I'll get my video up or not. It might be Sunday. Anyway, please don't forget to click like and subscribe. Please check out the ways that you can support my channel down below. And if you are interested in wading into the TikTok discourse, please don't forget to check me out over there. Okay, I'm gonna go hike. I'll be back. Bye.